A low-speed collision on the tarmac at LaGuardia Airport in New York last night is now the subject of an investigation.
And it was like a pretty violent collision. At the time, we didn't really know like kind of what we hit. We just, did we hit the gate? Did we hit like another plane? Did we hit a truck? Like, what was it? So it was like an initial impact, right? Of a, like, now I don't know if we hit that aircraft or that aircraft hit us or clipped us. I'm not exactly sure, but almost what it sounded like was like a sardine can kind of opening. Like it was like something was being sheared off, and lo and behold, we looked at the right side of the plane, and the wing looked like it was almost like off the plane.
And here's some new video into our newsroom from another passenger who was on that plane. We played a bit of it during the clip. You can see the moment the two regional jets operated by Delta came so close that the wing of one slammed into the cockpit window of the other. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about this in the newsroom. We thought we'd share the conversation with you. Sarah and Johanna are here. Sarah, first of all, why don't you bring us up to speed on what happened here?
I mean, yeah, it's so many questions about exactly what happened here. What we know, though, is that these are two Bombardier CRJ 900 jets. They were regional jets operated by Delta. This happening just before 10 p.m. at night. The one plane was arriving in from North Carolina, and it was taxiing toward the gate. The other plane was scheduled to be departing from Virginia, and both were out on the tarmac. Preliminary info, and visually we can see it, and we can see it in the damage as well. Clearly, they came very close to one another, and the one wing of an aircraft, the one that was departing, it struck the other plane that had been arriving, and there was damage to the fuselage, the front part of the plane. I might think of it as the lower part of the cockpit, but you might know better than I do.
That's fair.
And as well, the cockpit window is really completely smashed out, and it looks like it would be a pretty scary situation.
My younger son was a baggage handler a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and the number of rules that you're taught about where to be, where not to be, and when you're driving airside, how careful you have to be. So, Johanna, how is it that two planes can run into each other at a major airport like this?
It is surprising, and you're right. There are so many instructions for any movement taking place on any airport. We don't know whose fault this is yet. We do know that the ATC instructed the one plane on the ground to hold short and yield to the incoming plane. But we don't know how many holes in the Swiss cheese lined up for this incident to happen. That is what investigators will be looking at. But we do have a recording from air traffic controller shortly after the moment it happened. Take a listen.
Air 5047, say again. We need trucks on Alpha. The emergency trucks, sir? We have two CRJs on mics that collided. Right, standby. I'll let you know. And you guys did clip, correct? Yeah, we did. Their right wing clipped our nose and the cockpit. We have damage to our windscreen and some of our screens. The engine's running still. We'd like to shut it down when we can.
So calm, too. I don't know if you caught that moment. You clipped, didn't you? Yeah, we clipped. So the investigators will be looking into this, but it is surprising. Planes on the ground are only moving at about 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. A couple things to keep in mind. They're spaced much more tightly than they are in the air. And it is, even though it's a well-oiled machine on the ground, pilots have limited visibility, especially at night. There are so many lights. And at a legacy airport like LaGuardia, there isn't a lot of extra space. It just takes one moment of confusion and spatial awareness as two planes are trying to slide beside each other, and that's all it would take. But this is something that pilots on the ground are always listening carefully to ground control. There's a separate channel just for ground instruction, and we look at the maps ahead of time because, again, the lights and the tightness and the taxiways versus the runways, it can get confusing at nighttime.
I have to say, though, and you put your finger on it, one of my favorite things about aviation is how calm air traffic controllers and pilots are no matter what happens. And actually, I think to myself, if they can be that way there, we can be that way here.
So true.
It is amazing. there was an injury or some injuries here?
Yeah, so also in that recording, you do hear the one pilot talking about need for ambulance. There's only one injury, and from the sounds of that recording, it was a flight attendant who injured their knee, and they were taken to the hospital. But on the plane, there were 57 passengers on one plane, and there were 28 on the other. They were all offered hotel if they needed it before they were able to fly out again. And we were told that there was no operational disruption as a result of this, although, I mean, in that particular area, clearly they weren't able to use it right away.
Yeah, and some major repairs obviously have to be done.
Yeah.
All right, thanks to both of you.
You're welcome.